Welcome back to the YouTube channel. If this is the first time on the channel, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel because I do content like this all the time. And then if you like what you're seeing right now, feel free to give this video a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Now, without further ado, let's start with the topic at hand. And this time we're going to be talking about the brand new game, Elden Ring. I know so many people have already talked about this game, but I want to talk about this game as well. But first off, I want to talk about my experiences with their past games like the Dark Souls games and things like that. When it comes to their past games, I actually never played any of the Dark Souls games. I never played Demon Souls, and I never played that ninja game, Sakurai Heroes Die Twice, I think it's called. I know I'm butchering the name, but I never played that as well. However, I did actually play Bloodborne, and I actually did beat Bloodborne to completion. And Bloodborne is actually one of my favorite games out there. Definitely, I would definitely put it on one of my favorite games list for sure. I love the mechanics of that game. I love how difficult that game is. Overall, I love everything about that game, and that game is an amazing game to me personally. I love Bloodborne so much. That game is a fantastic game, and that game is just great. But anyway, let's talk about Elden Ring. Now, when it comes to Elden Ring, I can't really say I was excited for this game because honestly, I didn't even know this game existed up until about late last year. I heard more people getting so excited about this game. A lot of people were talking about, oh, I'm very excited for Elden Ring. Elden Ring is definitely going to be my most anticipated game next year. And I'm like, what is Elden Ring? Lo and behold, Elden Ring is basically an open world Dark Souls game or a From Software title. I had to look back because I kind of get their name mixed up. I kind of call it wrong, but yes, it's one of their games, and I was like, huh, an open world Dark Souls, and I was like, I don't really know how that's going to translate into an actual game. I really wasn't excited for this game. I didn't look up anything for this game, so I was unaware of this game. This was a game I was not even going to pick up, but then once the release date rolled around, so many people were talking about this game. I even heard comparisons to Breath of the Wild. I even heard articles saying, oh, this is as big as a release as Breath of the Wild back in 2017. So I was like, I have to check this game out because one thing you may know or not know about me is I love open world games, and then I also love Breath of the Wild. And if this is going to be similar to Breath of the Wild or similar to a lot of open world games, I have to check this game out. So I couldn't avoid the hype of this game. I couldn't avoid the talk of this game, and I pretty much had to actually buy this game. So I ended up buying this game. And holy smokes, this game right now, I can definitely tell you, is a game that's definitely worth buying 100%. I definitely think it's worth the price of admission. Right now, I could definitely see this game being the game of the year for sure. I know this year is stacked with video games, especially if you are a Nintendo fan, but if you're looking for a game to play right now and you don't have anything else to play, or if you love open world games, I can highly recommend this game to you without a doubt. Although I can't recommend this game to everybody, honestly, even if you love Breath of the Wild, I'm going to make a lot of comparisons to Breath of the Wild just due to the fact that that's one game I absolutely love. And honestly, if you compare this game to Breath of the Wild, which maybe you shouldn't, all I can really say is it does take a lot of similarities from Breath of the Wild, and it really does feel like another Breath of the Wild moment, hence the title of this video as well. That's what I personally think, and I stand strong to that. I think there's a lot of comparison to be made with Breath of the Wild, but yes, this game is an amazing game. The only reason I couldn't recommend it to you is the fact that this game is an extremely hard game. It's not a walk in the park. It's not like Breath of the Wild was a walk in the park either. There were some moments that were kind of hard in that game, but it was nowhere near as hard as Elden Ring. And of course, you shouldn't really be surprised about that, especially if you know this came from the same developer as all the Dark Souls games, Bloodborne, Demon Souls, and things like that. So that's pretty much to be expected. And I already knew what I was getting myself into, and I was like, yeah, this game's not going to be that hard considering I did beat Bloodborne to completion, and it didn't take me that long to beat Bloodborne. But lo and behold, this game is very difficult. It's also very difficult to me specifically because there are some moments in this game where it's going to take you hours on end to beat a hard boss, beat a hard enemy, beat a hard area in the game. This game is not for the faint of heart. So if you're not good at video games, or if you're a casual gamer, or you're not really concentrating too much, or you can't learn enemy patterns, I would honestly say probably probably stay away from this game. Again, this game's not for you. It's for people who maybe love the Dark Souls series, any of their past work. Maybe you love open world games, or maybe you love difficult games as well. Maybe you're okay with hard enemies. You want to learn enemy patterns. You want to learn the mechanics of the game. You want to do all this stuff, and this game is definitely for you. Right now, I am going to show you some footage of the game as well. Keep in mind, I'm only going to show you the first area of the game. I think it's called like not LimeWire, sorry, that's the name of a company. Sorry. What I meant to say is, it's like Limegrave, Limegrosser, something like that. It starts with an L anyway. I didn't mean to do LimeWire. Of course, we know it's not LimeWire. So just disregard that. I do apologize. That's just the first thing that came to mind because I don't know why. But yes, I'm going to show you the first area of the game so you won't get any spoilers. You may already be playing this game as well. All I can say is, right now, I do have a lot to say about this game, and honestly, from what I played, I absolutely love this game. I honestly wasn't planning on making this video for sure on day one or even around release, but I just couldn't help myself, and I love Breath of the Wild, and this is definitely another Breath of the Wild moment. I remember the first time I played Breath of the Wild, it was just definitely an experience, and I can never get that experience back. So I love it when games take inspiration from Breath of the Wild, or are very similar to that game, or very similar to other open world games. I absolutely love that because this is a game where you can sink hundreds of hours into. The world is gorgeous, the combat is fun. I'm not even close to beating the game. I'm very early on in the game. I'm probably like 15 hours in, but that's still something, and I thought I had to make this video for the game. Overall, I'm loving this game. This game, like I said, you can easily get around probably about 80, 90, even over 100 hours into this game, maybe even 200 hours. I'm sure with how hard the game is and with how much content it is and how big the world is, I'm probably going to get somewhere near close to 200 hours into this game without a doubt. I can already tell you that. I'm not sure also what I actually want to rate this game. Do I want to rate it a masterpiece? Because some people are claiming out there on the internet this game is a masterpiece, and when you claim a game is a masterpiece, you're pretty much claiming that the game is a flawless game. And right now, I can't really say that because I'm too early in the game. I'm only around 15 hours in, and there's so much to do in this game and so much to see in this game. I really don't know what to think, but I'm very curious to compare this game to Breath of the Wild. That's my gold standards when it comes to open world games now, in my opinion. I know you can compare this to other games, like maybe a Skyrim or something like that, but for me, I compare this to Breath of the Wild because it does have a lot of similarities with Breath of the Wild. And right now, it's hard to say what I want to put for this game because the thing is, when I first played Breath of the Wild, after I got done beating this game, that game was a game that after the fog set in, I'd actually dropped my score a little bit because I seen the newness wear off, and I actually seen all the flaws that I wasn't happy with that game, so I did lower the score. But even so, it's still one of my favorite games of all time. Don't get that wrong. Just because I dropped the score doesn't mean it's still one of my favorite games of all time. It definitely is. And this may be another situation where this game is definitely one of my favorite games of all time, definitely in my top 10, most likely at the rate I'm going. I can see that. I just don't know where it's going to be. It's going to be higher than Breath of the Wild. Is it going to be ranked the same as Breath of the Wild? It's just too hard to tell at this moment, so I can't give it really a score at the very moment. All I can say is it is worth $60. It is a Game of the Year material. Everything is falling into place. You won't be disappointed with your purchase. This game's going to give you a lot of gameplay hours. You can just sit there all day and all night and play this game. It's funny, a lot of people are already doing that. Same thing with me. When I play this game, I play for like I start up the game and I don't realize, like, for instance, 5 hours of my life or 6 hours of my life already passed by just by playing the game, because the game is just so freaking fun. Whether you're fighting an enemy, even if they're very hard, whether you're looking for equipment, whether you're like exploring a dungeon, whether you're just walking around the open world, it's phenomenal. And honestly, the nice thing about this game is the world is worth exploring. It's a nice world to be in. There's a lot in the world. It's just a very nice game to look at and things like that. I know some people out there don't like this game for a couple of reasons. Like, for instance, some of the things I've heard is, oh, it's too similar to the Dark Souls games. I can understand that. For some people, they can see some of the things and be like, yeah, this game's just not for me. I don't really like the Dark Souls mechanics, or it's too similar to Dark Souls, but it's just open world. Or, for instance, it's too hard. If this game is too hard, this game's not for you. I'm okay if not every game's tailored to everybody. Like Breath of the Wild was pretty much accessible to everybody, whether you're kind of a casual gamer to maybe a hardcore gamer, I think anybody could kind of enjoy Breath of the Wild. Sure, it was hard a little bit, but it wasn't this hard. But this game is just not for everybody, unfortunately. But if you can look back past the biggest flaw, which is going to be the difficulty, then I think you're definitely in for a very good time when it comes to Elden Ring. And this is a game that I just can't stop thinking about, and that's why I wanted to make this video right now. This game is just too phenomenal. It's definitely one of those games you only get like once a decade. It's just that insane. And honestly, I don't regret paying for this game at all. I know, again, 2020 is stacked when it comes to video game releases. It's actually funny, at the very time of this recording, there's actually already 3 big open world releases that did come out this year. We got Pokemon Legends, which came out in January. We also got Horizon Forbidden West that came out recently before Elden Ring. So you can see this year is looking stacked when it comes to open world games. So if you love open world games, then you're definitely going to have a very fun time when it comes to this year's release lineup of video games, just because there's so much to actually play this year when it comes to open world games. And honestly, that's not a bad thing. And honestly, I think I made the right choice. I was actually going to go for Pokemon Legends, but I'm actually glad I didn't go for Pokemon Legends, because this game, in my opinion, I think I'm going to be more happier with. I'll probably still get Pokemon Legends down the road just because it looks like it's my type of game. It's not really open world. Some people are calling that game open world, but it's not really open world. It's more like a semi-open world and things like that, but it's okay, I guess, to call that game open world. But either way, I think I made the right choice this year to buy Elden Ring. Now, some things to take in mind really quickly is, one, this game is on every single major platform besides the Nintendo Switch. You can play this on PC, you can play this on Xbox Series S and X, and you can also play this game on the PlayStation 5. And the nice thing about this game as well is you don't need to upgrade to the latest hardware. You can actually play this on last generation systems like the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 consoles as well. Just keep in mind, it's very kind of odd that this game does have loading times, especially on next-gen hardware, whether it's the PS5 or Xbox Series S or X. And that's a little unusual just due to the fact that a lot of next-gen games don't have any loading times, are very minimal loading times, which was kind of shocking, but I guess it kind of makes sense because this game is a massive open world game. It kind of reminds me of the same loading times you get with something like Breath of the Wild. Luckily, as far as I'm concerned and as far as I'm aware, you don't really have too many loading times to deal with this game, only really when you die in this game. But if you don't die in this game, it's pretty much a straight path. You can pretty much just walk around to your heart's content, kind of like Breath of the Wild. That's something I really do love about this game. It's all one big connected world. It's not little areas split up where you have a lot of loading times going from this area to the next area, and that's something I love about this game. This game, honestly, is just a phenomenal game as well. The newness might wear off, to be honest, but right now I'm pretty much in that state of mind where I just can't stop thinking about Elden Ring. I'm addicted to Elden Ring. I'm also trying to go very slow. It sounds weird that I'm addicted to the game, but I'm trying to go very slow because this is a game I know, for instance, I don't want it to end like Breath of the Wild, because once this game ends, it's going to be hard for me to return to this game because the newness will wear off, and then I won't be able to play this game. And like I said before, games like this only come once a decade for me and for a lot of people. So this is that moment. I gotta preserve this moment as much as possible. Luckily, there is a lot to do in this game. You'll get a lot of hours, and there is enough reasons to actually replay this game. I think they have like a new game plus with this game, and just different classes as well. So you can try different builds. You can try different things out. There's a lot going for this game and things like that, and definitely worth the asking price. This game is not lacking content at all. If that's what you're worried about, and if you're on the fence, just buy this game. Again, if you love action RPGs, you love open world games, you just love exploring, you love a big massive world, you love good mechanics, you love games that don't have cheap deaths. This game has no cheap deaths. Everything when you die in this game really feels like it's fair. It's not cheap. The game runs pretty well, honestly. You won't really have any problem with this game. The enemies are amazing. I love the fact that, too, a lot of the enemies in this game are very unique. If you love things like a fantasy world, then you're definitely going to love this game. Overall, I cannot recommend this game enough, and I agree with everybody saying this game is an amazing game. I just don't know what to rate this game at the very moment, and like I said again, I had to actually talk about this game even though I wasn't, because this game is just a phenomenal game, and I'm very curious to see how it's going to hold up to Breath of the Wild, in my opinion, because yes, I'm going to keep comparing this to Breath of the Wild. That was one of my favorite moments in gaming history, playing Breath of the Wild for the first time, and this is pretty much redoing that all over with Elden Ring. And oh my god, what I'm probably going to end up doing down the road is I'm probably going to end up making another video where I actually talk about this game once I finished it, or at least got most of it completed. I know this is also going to be a game like Breath of the Wild, where on your first playthrough, you're not going to see everything in the game. It's going to be like Breath of the Wild, where today they're still finding new things to do and new things to talk about in Breath of the Wild. That's how crazy Breath of the Wild is, and that's looking like the same thing with Elden Ring. There's so many little secrets, so many things to explore. I'm sure years down the road, people will still be finding things in the game that they didn't find around the release of the game. That's how crazy this game is. Overall, just get this game. You won't be disappointed, and I am so obsessed and so addicted. All I've been thinking about is Elden Ring. That's how crazy this game is, and that's pretty much it for this video. I just love this game, and just an amazing game. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from